Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 2 of Wistoria, Wand and Sword. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm still not really sure what I feel about this show. From a purely artistic standpoint, it is absolutely beautiful in its visual design, its character design, and its fight choreography. That cannot really be argued easily. I mean, subjectively, somebody else could not like it, but I mean, a lot of people are singing its praises from a aesthetic standpoint, and I stand among them 100%. But there are so many aspects of this as a storyteller that have me scratching my head. Chief among them isn't actually the issue with why Will is at the school anymore. We actually had that addressed very nicely at the start of this episode, and for the time being, I'm content with that. It brought up its own unique questions, but that is what good storytelling should do. It should answer one question and bring up 5 more, especially early in a story as we are here, because we're only in episode 2. The thing that's really bothering me though, the thing that is really giving me a hard time, and this very well may be something that is bothering me because I'm a female viewer and not a guy, is I'm very frustrated on behalf of Collette. I think Collette is getting a raw deal, and I don't like it. Now, here's the thing. This is the kind of raw deal that could happen to a guy or a gal in a story. This is something that happens to people all the time. I think Collette likes Will, and Will kind of cluelessly goes along with this. Like in the first episode, he refers to her as being cute or pretty. And there's nothing wrong with it in and of itself, but I mean, Will has a very specific purpose for being at the school and a very specific goal. From a storytelling angle, that makes perfect sense. But to have him have that goal, through Alfie being out of reach, and then to present the audience with Collette almost as if she's a consolation prize, at least in my opinion, is kind of frustrating. I get it, it's not her story. She is not, like him, going to end up with a happy ending. She is not, like him, going to be able to win the thing she wants to achieve through sheer determination, and that's because the thing she wants to receive is his affection, I would assume, and because that's something you can't just strive toward, that's something someone has to give you. It's different than Will wanting to be with Alfie, because the question, as far as I know, isn't whether Alfie wants him to be there. She does, but rather Will finding a way to go across the path needed to physically do that. In Colette's situation, this problem is different because Collette hypothetically seems interested in Will and doesn't seem aware of the fact that Will is already taken. His dance card is full. As crazy as this sounds for a bunch of teenagers, that seems to be the way the story is working. And the main reason that I say that is because with Alfie being such a powerful and centered aspect of the core plot, for it to shift in any way away from that would actually mess with the central focus of the story and would cause its own unique set of problems. So, the way I see it, hopefully, if they are going to use Collette in this way for a while, that is, I suppose, fine. I hope that as things progress, as hopefully Will gets closer to his own objective of being with Alfie, and as things become more clear, that Collette can find some kind of peace and can find her own means of happiness that do not involve Will, because that's obviously not going to be obtainable. Talking about the next core issue of this episode, we need to talk about Professor Edwardo, because, oh my god, Walmart brand Snape was a massive pain in the ass here, and I'm not sure how I feel. I'm usually somebody who likes antagonists or villains, but this guy is just an absolute creep, and I really don't like him. Now, let me make it very clear. The stuff I was talking about with Collette, and with Alfie, and with Will, that is long-term stuff that I'm very concerned about investment into the story. This situation with Edwardo is perfectly fine, because he served perfectly admirably as a antagonist for the episode, and it was interesting seeing the fight that they had against each other. I do think that he was definitely a underhanded and low tactics kind of person, given that he brought Will into a room, did not actually allow Will to prepare in any way for this test, and then just randomly started attacking him. That was just absolutely unexcusable and, in my opinion, potentially disqualifying for a damn professor. That was absolute crap. I mean, I get it, he's a dark mage, it's cliche. I wish that they hadn't gone that route with him, with his behavior versus his magic, because it did really lessen his character in that regard. It would have been much more interesting to either see his magic be something that wasn't dark magic if he was going to behave this way, or to see him behave, even if it was still antagonistically, in at least a more fair and nuanced sense of behavior with him being a dark mage, because insofar as he would be concerned as a character, he probably figures that he could beat Will in his sleep. So what reason was there to not actually give Will every opportunity conceivable to have a, quote, fair fight, when in Edwardo's own probable estimations, there wasn't going to be no fair fight anyway? I don't know. It's probably just raw hubris. There seems to be a lot of prejudice in the story, which to me is just a form of conflict. I don't take it personally, and I'm certainly not someone who gets upset at that in fiction for the most part, so that didn't really bother me. I thought it was interesting, though, that we get that one shot of the students in the hall, and the fact that the red-haired boy from last week actually goes up to Will and, like, grabs him and stuff. I thought that was kind of what the hell. But, he's a teenage boy, and he was being, like, talked up by his friends and stuff, so what you gonna do? The last thing I want to talk about quickly is the headmistress. I thought she was very interesting. I wonder just what her actual angle is, because she let Will go to the school, but she had absolutely no qualms in letting Edwardo test him, and did nothing to intervene over how crazy the freaking tests were. I wonder if this is because of some sort of moral failing on her part, or whether this is because there are dangers and situations lurking that are going to be so dire going forward that this kind of testing is absolutely necessary and is actually meant to help increase Will's capability, determination, and ability for survival. Anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap it up from me. I thought the episode overall was okay. I'm concerned long-term about the whole situation with Alfie, Will, and Collette. I think one of the key things that needs to happen is we somehow need to see an interaction between Will and Alfie to help further establish their relationship, because without that, she just seems like she's a MacGuffin, and it's really annoying. But those are my thoughts. I'd love to know what you thought, so drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you later. Bye!